I have a friend that's lived in Dumaguete for 25 years. He has a house. He's married with a wife, three kids, and has a business. He went home to go visit his brother who was sick. And when he came back, he was turned around and sent back home before he ever made it through immigration. True story. Well, what a nightmare scenario this has turned into. I invited my wife to come along.
Hi everyone.
Because we are both friends with this guy.
Yes.
And we both know his family and his kids. And that's just something I want to repeat again if I haven't already said it. This guy's been here not only 25 years, but he's got a house that he built. He has two businesses that he built up. He has got three kids, and he's fully invested. So he has never, ever once, since he came over here 25 years ago. Wow, just fathom that, 25 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time,
Yeah.
man. That wasn't even the Philippines, and especially Dumaguete wasn't even in my thought process that long ago. What it must have been like back then, huh? But I digress. Okay, so he gets the phone call, the one we all dread, that his brother is on his last legs and he'd like to see my friend. He's anonymous, of course, so we call him Joe Blow. So Joe Blow, he goes through the motions here in the Philippines to leave the country. And that's generally where you hear the horror stories about guys being deported and being blacklisted. Either they've gone broke and they've got to be sent home because they're undesirable, or they've broken a law, they've written a bad check. The biggie is overstaying your visa. But that wasn't the case with Joe Blow. His visa was all current. He didn't have any lawsuits. He didn't have any complaints. And the reason that I know that is because every time you leave the Philippines, if you've been here for 6 months or longer, you go through an exit clearance process. And so you get your fingerprints taken, and they run those, and they double check against all the records here in the Philippines only to make sure you've been a good boy or girl, whatever the case. And so he had nothing. So he skipped on, got on the plane, went to the States, saw his brother, bought himself a one-way ticket on the way back to the airport, back to the Philippines. And by the time he got up to the counter at immigration, they said, "Excuse me, but we need to have a little conversation one-on-one with you." And that's where they take you back to the little room and have a little come to Jesus time with you. And they turned him around and put him back on the plane and sent him back home. So let me dig into the details on that situation. What's happened, a very long story, and I'll try to keep it as short as humanly possible. They have upgraded the computer systems up here, or out here, in the last few years. And they are now checking Interpol, FBI, whatever country you're in, whatever the agencies that they utilize for your background. They dig into those pretty good. And this guy's not that old. He came out here in his 30s and again built up the business and all this. So he's an extraordinary guy. But apparently he had something in his youth, something that went back into the 70s or the 80s maybe, that popped up. And once he got to immigration, he had already been flagged. What I found out in researching this is that now when you come in, the passenger manifest on the jet is forwarded prior to your arrival to immigration. And they start screening us before we even get off the plane or before the plane even lands. So when you do come out, they know when they scan your passport and there's a red flag on it, that's when you go into the little room. What happened is unclear. He did not want to say what the circumstances were or what type of infraction he may have done in his youth back in America. But I find it crazy, not crazy, but I find it almost unfathomable that they would go back that far and find something and use it and deny him entry. So what are the things that will flag it? Well, the usual suspects that I don't have to even mention, but I will just for drill. Murder, rape, child endangerment, domestic violence, any kind of a felony, especially using a weapon, robbing a bank or robbing a liquor store, violence or violence against children. And that's a good thing. They should check that. They should not let them out of the country, no matter where they're coming from. But I don't know what he did, and it's certainly not me to play judge and jury, but something popped up. And when I dug into it, I wanted to say, well, how far does this go? So before I did this little video, I did some research as best I could on Google and some other little apps that I have. And it kind of boils down to this. If you have a felony, violent or non-violent, that will flag it. And it's kind of up to the discretion if it's a non-violent offense to either let you in or not. It's not exactly clear cut, but it is clear cut that if you were in jail for 5 years or more, it's just not going to happen. You're not coming into the country. And again, anything else that I mentioned, using a gun, crimes against women or children, any kind of violence, yada, yada. What I thought to myself, okay, well, what would be the most common infraction that people would commit back home that isn't that big of a deal, but would still give you a record? And what came into my mind was DUIs, drinking and driving. So I asked Google and all the others, and they broke it down this way. If you had, say, a DUI, and it was a misdemeanor, meaning it was your first time offense, you didn't hurt anybody, they just saw you weaving while you were driving down the road, and they pulled you over, and they took you in. Generally, they will fine you a lot of money. They will give you like a suspended sentence. And what else did they say they do? They usually put you through some kind of a course, like a drinking course or a driving course, and for 6 months. And they make you pay your dues. They interrupt your life quite a bit. But that's a good thing, because I think we can all agree we should never drink and drive. One thing I found out, though, if you're just weaving down the street and you're a little intoxicated, you just go over the limit a little bit. If you've got a kid with you, it goes from misdemeanor to felony automatically. And it changes a little bit from state to state. So if you're in America and you want to research this yourself on you, that's what I would advise you look in Nevada, or Florida, or Texas, or wherever you're sitting. And the reason, the whole motivation to make this video is just to kind of give you guys a heads up that they are going deep, and they are going back, and they are going through FBI records and Interpol and police reports, and checking out arrest records, etc. And they're tightening up. It's not as bad as it sounds, because 3,000 to 4,000 people per year are kicked out of the country before they get into it, just like Joe Blow here, my friend that I'm giving this example on. And that's less than 1% of the people coming over the border to come to the Philippines. So it's not a big statistic, but it's one that applied, and it's just food for thought. You come over here, and I think I got a lot of time invested at 9 years. No kids, married, 2 dogs that won't quit bothering me. And, I can't imagine if I went home just for the same reason. And I did that 4 years ago. I went home to see my father. I came back in. I didn't have any problems, thank God, because I don't have any arrest records. But apparently he did something. And I'm not going to dig into it and bug him and ask him all the details. It's not my business. But I'd be curious as to what you think of that. And does it raise any kind of flags or warnings in your life? And if not, great. But I'll be redundant and I'll say forewarned is forearmed. So if you've had a little bit of a history and maybe you did something nutty when you were a kid, well, guess what? That's going to be on the record now if it's available. And they will pull it and they can do it. So that's the video. Yeah. That's kind of the tale. I don't know what's going to end up happening with this guy. He's living with his dad and trying to make ends meet somehow. And we'll keep you posted if we hear anything new. So please feel free to leave a comment if you know anything like this and or what you think. You think I'm full of it? That's fine. Make a comment. If you think we're helping you out, that's cool. Make a comment there too.
Yes.
See you later, alligator.
Yes.
Say goodbye, baby May.
Bye-bye, guys.
Say goodbye, Gaylord. Oh, he's got Tampo. He's not going to talk. I'll see you in the next video.